video is going to be on my Suzuki Rm80. I believe that it is a 1990 model. The engine was torn apart by the last owner. He had it under a cover, so I don't think any water got in there, and I can't see any rust. The crank bearing feels fine. Moves side to side a lot, but no up and down. I was gonna remove the engine, but I can't get the bolt out. I used a cutoff wheel in my impact, and I cut the head off on one side, and I'm thinking about cutting it right there too, and then right there, and then I think I can just pull the end out. He also tore apart the engine. He had the clutch just sitting right here, sitting on the part that goes to the transmission. So I went ahead and I took that off so it doesn't fall off. He said it was a big wheel, but I don't think it's a big wheel. It's a 14-inch rear wheel. I believe it is a 1990 because it has disc brake on the back and disc brake on the front, and because the VIN number from a 1990 is the same all the way up till there, I think, and then it changes. But that's the closest one, is a 1990, so that might just be the production number, like how many they sold. And I don't know if this is meant for racing or not because it has a kickstand. I've sprayed penetrating fluid in there. This stuff. And it won't budge. Hit it with a hammer too, and hit it a lot of times with a hammer. Started with that hammer, and then that hammer, and still can't get it to budge. And I don't know if it's a 1990 because it has a flat slide carburetor, which I don't think a 1990 would have. There's the airbox. I took that out, and I took the rear shock off. I have a lot of parts that came with it. Came with a cylinder and a head. Also came with radiator, but it's bent pretty bad. Came with a silencer that's messed up too. Came with an engine cover. Suzuki engine cover, a reed holder thing, water pump, and then brake lever, and a cover for the power valve that goes on the top right there. Then another cover for the power valve, and then the engine mount. So it's some random stuff. Here's the exhaust that came with it. I think it's an OEM one. I'm pretty sure it's an OEM one. I don't know of any other brand that would have that and then have that still right there. So it's probably an OEM exhaust. That's a Kickstarter assembly right there. That's the clutch bearing, the clutch hub bearing. The clutch is wrapped up in there and covered in oil. And I have the plastics. I have the seat, which is in pretty good shape for the year. I think there's only a little rip on the other side. And then I have the radiator shroud, which goes on the gas tank over here. I have the front fender. I have the side panel. So I have one side panel one radiator shroud, a rear fender, a front fender. So all I'm missing is a side panel, which I don't think he gave me. He might have. Yeah. I have a piston for it. Based off the piston, because it's a Wiseco piston, I looked up the numbers that were on the piston after I cleaned it off enough to see the numbers, and it says that this is a 91 based off the piston. So I'm assuming they had the wrong piston in it. And I think 90 was the first year for the disc brake. I'm not sure. I need to order a new bolt that goes through the back of it, and a new bolt for the swing arm and stuff. But overall, for what I paid, it's a good project. I'm thinking about maybe just cutting the frame there and cutting it there and putting that engine in it. Because the forks are pretty nice on this, and it sits up really high. Because on the bucket, I don't know if you can see that or not, but it's like both tires are touching. This bike, it wouldn't even be close to that. My CR80 wouldn't be close to that either. But that's going to be all for this video. Please comment, like, and subscribe, and